of the Fox Entertainment Group said, quote, "To say we're going to place blame on Bob Graziano for what happened this year, nothing could be further from the truth. We're not singling Bob out in any way, shape, or form." So they didn't single him out. They only fired him. Since buying the Dodgers last year, Rupert Murdoch's News Corporation has fired a manager, general manager, and now the team president. Taking a break here on Baseball Tonight. Coming up, which managers are best equipped for the... Been there many times before.
Well, Buck Showalter's hero in a lot of ways is Bobby Cox, and they both demand a certain type of discipline. But I'll tell you what I love about Bobby Cox is not only is he a great manager, he never will give in on one of his players. Never give him up to the media, never give him up to anybody. And Buck Showalter is so prepared, but he prepares for himself so that he can just hand it over to the players and make it very simple for them. In a lot of ways, he's the ultimate player's manager.
Well, they both really are. I look at Buck and I think about the fact that you talk about preparation and turn it over to the players, but he's put everybody in situations where they can be successful. Look how he's handled Bernard Gilkey. Here's a guy who had a bad year, but he was a superstar type of player, came to Arizona looking for a chance to redeem himself, get on track. They made him a platoon player, and he's been successful, and he hasn't mouthed off or anything. That's credit to the manager, keeping everybody in check and communicating. You take Womack this spring. They moved him as an all-star second baseman. They put him in right field. He helped him go ahead and develop and took time. He communicates with them. That's very important. And Bobby Cox, the thing I like about Bobby, he's a tremendous field manager. He understands situations. You know, they have the great pitching staff. To be able to handle superstars, you can't have an ego yourself. Bobby doesn't have an ego. He just wants to win. I think that's important.
Two guys with an awful lot of talent now. Harold, you can start off on this, Joe Torre and Mike Hargrove.
Well, Joe Torre, to me, I think he's the perfect fit in New York. You look at the calming influence that he brings to that team. Having been a player and having been a superstar player and from New York, he fits great with this team. The Yankees are not the same team when Joe Torre is not around, and I think that's important that he brings.
Well, I think that's with Joe, too. I mean, I think he's so fair. I always thought he was a good manager in St. Louis, too, and things didn't work out there. But I think the one thing, he never thinks about losing. We heard all weekend about Bobby Valentine talking about if we lose, I get fired. You would never hear Joe Torre talk about it. You'd only hear him talk about, look, I've got good players, they're going to win. Mike Hargrove has never gotten a lot of credit. He's had very good teams. There's been a lot of pressure on him, expected to win every single year. But I think one thing is he's stood up to it pretty well, and I think that's been pretty important. He's never kind of rocked the boat, and he's never let his ego get in the way of big-name star players.
Let's keep it going here. John Oates, meantime, gets a contract extension. He's going to be there a little while. Jimmy Williams, very impressive, going with the Red Sox. Now, they're going to be in the playoffs, it looks like now.
Well, Johnny Oates is a very decent man and a very intense man who really takes care of details. Jimmy Williams, I think, has been this year the best manager in the game. He's done something very few players have done. He's been able to develop and contend at the same time. And we talk about managers who never give up their players. Boy, in Boston, if you can avoid giving up your players to the media and giving it up to a front office that is a little strange, is really difficult.
Well, I think the important thing about both these guys, you have to play according to the style of game that you like to play, so you go get your players to do that. You think about the Red Sox 2 years ago, they were atrocious defensively. Jimmy Williams has always been, we're going to win with defense and we're going to win with pitching. You're going to catch the ball for me. Look at what he's done with Jose Offerman, because Offerman became a pretty decent second baseman. Although he's an offensive player, he's learned how to catch the ball under Jimmy Williams. He hits the ground balls every day. He's not your typical manager that doesn't go out and develop talent. He continues to develop. I played for Johnny Oates in Baltimore, and we had a tough year, and Johnny grew from that. And I think the one plus about Johnny Oates is he takes his past experiences and is able to apply it. He does a great job of that and continues to grow with his players.
All right, good stuff. Let's get back on the
$1,000 a year. Is that
or a guy named Rafi hit his 47th homer tonight with a career year? 8-time Gold Glove second baseman, or a guy with more RBI than anyone since 1938? Hey, forget trying to pick an American League MVP. Tough enough to try and pick an MVP on several teams. That's why we break it down.
Batman and Robin are usually considered the quintessential dynamic duo, but the boy wonder and Bruce Wayne got to step aside because in the American League this season, the finest teams have gotten to where they are based on the work of some of their own dynamic duos. Cleveland, New York, Texas, and Boston, the fattest teams in the AL, and each of them boasts 2 MVP caliber players. There have been 14 times in the 90s that duos have finished in the top 5 in the MVP voting. Now, conventional wisdom suggests that a pair will split votes and neither will win. You know what? Conventional wisdom is right. Only 3 of those 14 times did one of the teammates actually finish first, and only once did the teammates finish first and second. That was in 1990 when the Pirates' Barry Bonds and Bobby Bonilla turned the trick.
This is why Superman works alone.
But which duo in '99 has been the most valuable for the club? There are 2 little Indians in Cleveland that are having some serious years. Manny Ramirez leads the majors in RBI and leads the American League in slugging percentage. He's led Cleveland all season with some ridiculous offensive power. Roberto Alomar also displaying MVP-like numbers for the Tribe. Alomar leads the league in runs scored and is in the top 10 in 7 other offensive categories. And as always, Robbie's defense has been hyped.
Back up the middle and it's stopped by Alomar.
The Yankees duo is as impressive. Derek Jeter, wearing a cape, leads the American League in hits and is in the top 3 in batting average. Bernie Williams, also with a cape and a mask, in the top 5 in batting and has over 100 RBI. Both provide Gold Glove caliber defense. Texas's version of Batman and Robin, Rafi and Pudge. Bam! Whip! Boom! Palmeiro, 2nd in the league in homers, 2nd in the league in RBI, and 2nd in slugging percentage. Behind the plate, Pudge is unequaled in the American League. 1st in catcher homers and RBI, not to mention that he's throwing out well over 50% of all the base stealers. To the Beantown Batcave. The Beantown MVP duo consists of Nomar Garciaparra and Pedro Martinez. Nomar will probably win his first batting title and is in the top 3 in slugging percentage. Pedro is, well, he's Pedro. 23-4, a 2.08 ERA. He leads the league with 312 strikeouts while walking just 37 batters.
And the switch caller segue into our question of the night. Who is the American League's most valuable duo this season? Earlier I said Bernie Williams won the MVP last year. I was just testing you. He did not. He actually won the American League batting title. The numbers are in, and by a landslide. Nomar Garciaparra, Pedro Martinez, your choice to be the MVP. 43.8% of the vote and 44,000 people logged on. Derek Jeter and Bernie Williams. What, people in New York not using a computer tonight? 9.8%.
STS.
I asked him once about the last at-bat, the home run. Didn't you think about tipping your cap, which you always refused to do even then? He said, yeah. Between 2nd and 3rd, I was thinking about it.
Well, if it was just a fleeting moment. Because I hadn't been doing that for a long time. Might have given it a real little faint thought, but that was it. I couldn't do it.
You got 3 teams, 2 spots, Reds and Astros, Mets and Braves head-to-head. Let's start off. Just a week ago, the Astros and Mets in relatively good shape for the playoffs, but the Reds, they went on to win 5 in a row, while the Astros stumbled and the Mets did a free fall that still might have them equal the 64 Phillies. That's not good. The winner at the Dome Tuesday night takes over first place in the NL Central. This, just a 2-game series. Reds have taken 8 of 11 at Houston and 4-0 at the Dome. First off, Jose Lima against Sean Casey in the first. No score, not anymore. Casey got a little extra on that. Put it out, 25th of the year. Reds up 1-0. Top of the second now. Eddie Taubensee at the plate. Man on first. 1-1 game. Taubensee, base hit. Derek Bell playing in his first game since September 10th. No, didn't get down on that. Dimitri Young coming all the way around from first. He's going to score. Reds up 2-1. Go to the top of the 3rd now. And defensively here, Harold. Craig Biggio, normally very sharp as well. You saw Bell. Now Biggio having some problems in second.
Well, this is a tough play right here. Greg Vaughn hits a topper. He is off and flying. And Biggio comes up with a strong throw, but he's got no play. AstroTurf base hit, but Vaughn hustling. And then Taubensee comes up, and this ball just, Biggio starts to cut it off, doesn't cut it off. Tough chances. That was probably ruled in the air, but tough chances all night. And he wasn't able to make the play.
Bottom of the 5th. Astros trailing 4-1. Bell at the plate looking for redemption. No, not this time. Pete Harnisch gets it. Bouncing out. Barry Larkin double play. Pete Harnisch just cruising along in this. He challenged people in this game, Harold.
Well, he stayed around the plate, and he stayed aggressive. Now, he had a 10-pitch at bat early in the game against Bill Spires. I thought he would run out of gas, but he had a great split. You saw right there to Caminetti. And then he got already, we saw the ground ball to Derek Bell. Harnisch usually works the top of the zone. Bell getting on top of that one. Larkin making a spectacular play. And when you're making pitches and you're staying in the zone, your defense makes plays for you. And this is another example right here of the great versatility. Michael Tucker going out, making the play. The Reds lineup, they use everybody.
Back and forth now. Harnisch Here, he struck him out. Ricky Gutierrez and Darrell Ward, he struck him out again. The Reds win again, 6 straight. Pete Harnisch, 4-0 against the Astros this year, 15-10 overall. The Reds 5-0 in Houston, 50-27 on the road. Largest baseball crowd in the history of the Astrodome there to see it, 54,000 plus. But the Astros lose the game, fall into the wild card race now for at least one night.
Dropped my arm down a lot. I threw a lot more three-quarter and almost sidearm at times. And it really helped me a lot. It put a lot of movement on my ball, and I didn't have to worry about picking corners. I could just pretty much get a big part of the plate and let the ball do the work.
Great command. Had the best forkball I've seen him have, or changeup, whatever he throws, and a slider. He pitched great.
It was a night when I had good command of 3 pitches and good movement on my fastball.
We beat ourselves. There's nothing Harnisch did. Flat fastball, flat slider, flat changeup. We just didn't play baseball. We're Astros. It's some little league team.
This is what this team's been all about all year. We've been, trying to play catch up, and now we're here. We're going to try to keep going and try to win our division.
We can't sit back now. We really have to stay focused on what we need to do tomorrow and really take it one game at a time.
Boy, Carl, give him some credit. The Astros, meantime, pretty good at working the count normally and getting the opposing pitcher to work. They average 151 pitches per 9 innings at the plate. Tonight, Harnisch mainly responsible. They see just 85, crisp and clean. The Reds win, and that means the Mets with a chance to close to within a half game of the Astros in that wild card race. Mets and Braves starting 3 at Shea, trying to snap that 6-game losing slide. Right away, Oral Hershiser hits Gerald Williams to start off the first inning. It got worse. Brett Boone, single to right field. Williams going over to third. It got worse because Chipper Jones is in this ball game. Chipper, the Met killer. And here, a soft hit here for Chipper, but it gets it done. Williams going to come in. He's going to score. 1-0 Braves, and already, that's a bad feeling. You're on the phone already.
Yeah, 1 out in the first. No outs in the first. Klesko just placement right here. Sometimes, Brian, it's better to just have good placement instead of hit the ball hard.
Hit where they ain't. 1/3 of an inning for Oral Hershiser. 459 starts. That's his earliest exit ever. And then Tom Glavine, red hot.
Well, he threw the ball extremely well, kept guys off balance right here. When you think you had a pitch, he got him off front right there. He got Piazza, and then he had the nice little dead fist changeup tonight to get Edgardo Alfonso right there. So you saw him pitch Olerud, then Piazza, then Alfonso.
That was in the first inning to get out of a jam. The Mets could have, gotten right back into this. Meantime, Octavio Dotel in there. Brian Jordan lofts this. That's gone. First home run since August 15th. 5-0 Braves. Dennis Cook comes on top of the 8th. It's 5-1, and it gets bad here, Harold.
Well, right there, he tries to get a fastball. He's thinking it's over the plate. He's asking, is it down? Is it low? What's the deal? Where's the pitch? But the home plate umpire was consistently calling the same pitch all night. I got to give him credit for that because he was there. Cook comes in, draws the line, says, here's where I thought the ball was, and now this is time for the Mets snap. Brian, you knew it was coming.
It was coming, and also the umpire there being left out to hang in the breeze. We'll get back to that first. Met fans still hoping here. Alfonso, though, with a 5-2 game and 2 outs. And runner on second flies out. 9-3 the final. 100 wins for the Atlanta Braves. First time a National League team has done that in 3 straight years since Stan the Man's Cards in the 40s. It's El Foldo in Flushing. The 64 Phillies, I mentioned them. They lost 10 straight in the worst slide in history. Mets slide now up to 7. They were able to set the table against Glavine, but New York 1 for 13 with runners in scoring positions. Mets used 8 pitchers, and one of them, Dennis Cook, was asked if his tirade was designed to fire up the Mets.
I don't know. It wasn't meant to do that. Like I said, it was just I'm frustrated, a little bit frustrated, and I thought some of the pitches were good pitches, and I just voiced my opinion.
I think it just says a lot for how mental this game is, and for as much as there's a lot of talent in here and a lot of veteran players that have done a lot, collectively you can allow it to snowball and affect your performance physically.
I think we're past shell-shocked. I think shell-shocked was, during that road trip at 4 or 5 in a row. Now we're at 7 in a row, and we're still shell-shocked. This is incredible. I don't think anybody saw it coming, but it's baseball. It can happen, and we're proof of that.
There's so many words that you can use. It's frustrating, and we're obviously frustrated and disappointed, embarrassed, whatever you want to say. But, I think it's important for us to keep our professionalism and go out there and keep, dig down and find some pride. And as I said, no matter what happens from here on out, we're not going to have excuses and leave it out on the field.
Here's the deal now in the National League. The Reds lead the Astros by 1 full game. And again, the Mets losing a chance to move up on the Astros. Astros now in that wild card chase, moving over in the graphic here, a game and a half up on the Mets. So I don't know, Harold, I'm watching this Met game. Look at, I don't want to say cursed, but, no matter what happens, guys in scoring position, 1 for 13, 8 men left on base, and Hershiser knocked out so early.
Well, he really was, and he didn't get a chance to really get into the rhythm. Alfonso Marquez, home plate umpire, he kept a consistent zone all night, and then you saw the snap from Cook. Maybe that's something to ignite the Mets. You haven't seen a whole lot of enthusiasm out of those guys going down the stretch. Now, baseball's not a game where you really jump up and down and get excited, but sometimes you have to have somebody ignite that. Now, the Reds and Houston, the Reds are just on a roll. Total opposite of the Mets. This is a team that is just on fire. Everything they do seems to work out right. But the one constant with the Mets, with the Reds, I should say, excuse me, is they continue to put pressure on you. And when you run and you catch the ball and you put pressure on the other team, now you get pitches to hit, and that's what's happening with the Reds, and that's why they've been on such a hot streak.
Yeah, there's a positive karma for the Reds and just not happening for the Mets. Pitching can change everything in one game. We'll see what happens. Meantime, over to the American League. Now the magic number for those Boston Red Sox down to 1. Both Sox rained out today. They'll play 2 with the White Sox on Wednesday. Boston, though, can still clinch a spot in the playoffs with an Oakland loss. Last gasp for those Oakland A's. Oakland and Anaheim, no more losses to give. Matt Stairs out for the year, watching Tim Hudson at work, and Mo Vaughn just laying the bat out there for Tim Hudson. Big Mo puts it out, 31st homer of the year, 2-0 Angels, and Big Mo can help out the Red Sox. How about that? Top of the 5th, 2-2. Jason Giambi crushing that one. That's going into, where is it? Center field, thank you. 33rd home run of the year. 4-2 A's up on top. They're in the bottom of the 6th right now, and the A's are up on top, looking to stay alive, 4-3. A's can be eliminated again with a loss. Jason Giambi, 3 for 3 with a home run. He's got 2 RBI. Oakland has lost 5 of its last 6 games. More in the American League now. Got the Yanks and O's. Yanks on a mini slide, and Tino Martinez trying to stop that. It's 4-1 Orioles at this time. Tino changing that 3-run shot off Sidney Ponson, 4-4. Martinez, 3 for 4, 4 RBI. Defensively up in the air. Derek Jeter goes up and takes that from Charles Johnson in the 5th. O's, Jerry Hairston going up and taking that back. Watch the 2. Who do you rate better?
I still give Jeter the edge on that one. He got up a little bit high.
A little higher, if nothing else. Chuck Knobloch, meantime, had to leave the game with a sore thumb. D'Angelo Jimenez coming in with the bases loaded in the 6th. Base hit, Jimenez. That's going to break it open. It was a 5-5 game, but 1 will score. 0 runs will score. Yankees go on to win this one 9-5. O's lose for only the 4th time in their last 20 games. Again, Tino 3 for 4. Yankees magic number now dropping to 2 games, and New York snapping its 3-game losing streak. Taking a break here on baseball.
Little armadillo.
Here, that'd make it 3 times in the last 4 years, and in the first 2, the Rangers did not survive the encounter. Pitching, a big difference between the 2 clubs, and tonight the Rangers looking to get some help from Jeff Fassero. Having a rough season coming in here, 5-14 going into this one. Facing the Mariners. Fassero, though, top of the 3rd. It's Charles Gibson here. Gibson gets a piece of that. Mark McLemore, leaping grab, helping things out.
The theme of the night.
Leaping grab.
There you go.
Scoreless through 3. Fassero trying to get his spot in the postseason rotation there, Harold.
Well, he did a great job tonight throwing a lot of strikes. He ended up walking a few guys, but he was able to paint. And we'll get a closer look at his motion. He made a little bit of a change right there, getting Buhner on a fastball. Then he's got himself in a little bit of a jam against David Bell. Sorry, David Bell. And then he ends up getting Dan Wilson to line the ball out. But the key was when he got into jams, he threw strikes, and that's what Texas wants to see out of this guy.
Other way now, bottom of the 4th, Rafael Palmeiro from up above will launch one on John Halama. That's going to go. 47th home run of the era for Rafael Palmeiro. He is 1 behind Ken Griffey Jr. and the Rangers up on top 1-zip. Top of the 6th, it's 6-0 now. Mike Morgan to Edgar Martinez. Morgan staying nimble out there, makes this play. Morgan was okay, and the Rangers win this one big. 10-0 the final. Royce Clayton 3 for 4 with a home run. Rangers win their 4th straight game. A-Rod, by the way, 0 for 3. Ken Griffey Jr. 0 for 4. Jeff Fassero, a piece of that. 4 innings pitched, gives up just 1 hit in this game. So, again, 5-14, but come playoff time, we know this guy's a quality pitcher. Can he show it now in the playoffs?
Well, you know what? The thing is opportunity, and he faced a great lineup tonight in Seattle, and he was still able to nail it down. But I noticed it looked like a mechanical change that he'd made. So we went back to Montreal days. Now we'll start off with his breaking pitch, his off-speed pitch, his splitter, his changeup. See, watch his arm angle and his follow-through. Gets the arm up top and then the follow-through. Then he got into Seattle and he started hopping at the end. He wasn't finishing his follow-through. Tonight, he finishes his follow-through solid. He really pick it up with the fastball. Watch his back leg. See how smooth the follow-through is? And then he got into Seattle and he hurt his arm. He had arm surgery and he started shortening his arm delivery. And now in Texas, he's got back up on top and he's finishing his follow-through, and it's helping him get a little more zip back on his fastball. Now, the one thing Texas is looking at is maybe using him in long relief. But now, think about it, Brian. You got the Yankees, who are 21st in the big leagues against left-handers with a 2.62 ERA. Now, when you face right-handers against the Yankees, they go up to fourth in the big leagues, and their batting average jumps up to a team 287 batting average. So the Rangers are talking about throwing 3 right-handers, Loaiza, Seeley, and Healing. I don't know. Maybe Facero might get an opportunity to sneak in there and maybe get a start against the Yankees when Johnny Oates starts looking at the matchup.
And a pretty good audition here as well. All right, moving over now. We go to home run time. Sammy Sosa, meantime, playing with the Cubs tonight. That despite his wife being hospitalized for what police are calling an apparent accidental overdose of sleeping pills. Paramedics took Sonia Sosa to a Chicago hospital at around 5 a.m. Tuesday morning. She was later listed in good condition, and Sammy Sosa said he spoke with his wife and was convinced that she was fine and decided to play in the game with the Phillies. Sonia Sosa, by the way, was later released from the hospital later in the afternoon. Cubs and Phillies, that's the Wolf Pack out there. Randy Wolf's fan club cheering on their favorite guy, and the bases loaded with the Phillies up 1-0. Shane Andrews a double there, driving in 1, driving in 2. Cubs going up on top. 2-1 right now. Wolf Pack.
Oh, the front runners.
Stay with your guy. The Wolf giving up 4 runs to 3. You know, you're going to put on the hat. You might as well stay out there. Top of the ninth. Fans looking for Sammy Sosa to give him a thrill.
And yes, into the Wolf Pack. Look at him. Now they're scrambling. They wanted Sammy to go yard, and he got into one.
62 home runs for Sammy Sosa. Sammy Sosa.
You know, it's still amazing. 62 home runs. You consider the American League leader, Ken Griffey Jr., 48 home runs. Sammy again on another tear. Not a small feat to be overshadowed. 62 bomb.
And we talked about juiced ball, but these guys are leading the National League. If you're a leader, that goes down throughout history no matter what. 8-2 the final. Cubs take the Phillies. Steve Traxel 4-1 in his last 6 starts. Mid-time hits per decade. You know, Mark Grace up on top for the 1990s. Take a look throughout history. Hans Wagner in the aughts, for lack of a better word, the teens. Ty Cobb, Rogers Hornsby, Paul Wainer there in the 30s. That's Big Poison. Lou Boudreau in the 1940s. Richie Ashburn, Roberto Clemente in the 1960s. The pitchers era there. Pete Rose, you knew he'd be in there one of those times. Robin Yount. Mark Grace right now leading Rafael Palmeiro. That's by 4 hits coming into the game. So Grace could be the top hitter of the decade in terms of hits through the 10-year span. Padres and Cardinals, by the way, of course, Sammy Sosa getting number 62. Mark McGwire staying at number 61. 61 home runs. Padres and Cards rained out. They'll play a doubleheader Wednesday. You see the starting time. Padres and Cards rained out. Moving along, we got the Indians and the Royals. Pick it up. Roberto Alomar up with Hargrove looking on. Jay with Tassick facing him. Alomar rips that base hit. Omar Vizquel, he's going to come in tied up 1 apiece. Richie Sexton would bring home Alomar after that. Indians go up 2-1. Bottom of the ninth, pick it up 2 outs, runner on third. Mike Jackson facing Jermaine Dye. He struck him out. 39 saves for Jackson.
You know, he's been solid. You know, they worried about him early in the year. He had a little tendonitis. He's healthy again. He had good zip on that fastball. And come postseason, he's always tough.
Jarrett Wright, 3 relievers combining on a 3-hitter here, Harold. And Manny Ramirez 2 for 3 with a walk in this one with Tassick, and pitched 2 badly in this one. 2 earned runs through 7. There's a little bit of pitcher's duel here. Rare for the Indians. They take it. And again, Jarrett Wright looked pretty sharp getting ready for the postseason. The highest scoring teams. You got from 985, now 987 runs for those Indians. Got to go back. They got to go back only 3 years. Talking about the juice ball, livened up hardened ball, shall we say. Mariners in 96, but got to back to 50 Red Sox. And, of course, the 1936 Yankees, one of the best teams of all time, had over 1,065, the all-time record. But the Indians scoring a lot of runs, got enough to win in this one. Take a break here on Baseball Tonight. We're coming back. We go out with some changes with the Dodgers yet again. That's off the field, and the division champions on the field as well. Check in there. We'll be back. All right. Dodgers and Giants pick things up. Hey, Chris Berman, the Schwam, looking like a pitcher we all know. The high kick Juan Marichal, Chris Berman throwing out the first pitch. Meantime to the game itself, top of the second. Raul Mondesi on first, running. Von White, doesn't matter. Payoff pitch, gone. Dodgers up on top, 3-0. Dodgers up on top right now, 3-1 in this one. Meantime, another shakeup with the Dodgers. Team president and CEO Bob Graziano fired earlier in this one. 3-1, top of the seventh right now. Rockies and Diamondbacks, division champions. Buck Showalter, all is calm. Top of the third here. Rubio Durazo ripping this one.
This ball almost bounces into the camera bin.
That's over that yellow line. That should be gone. He's got a hustle going into third. Should be gone. Guess what? No. Knock up Bucks. That's a home run. I know this park. It's gone. But yeah, looking at it again. That's over the top.
Ed caromed off the back.
Was not ruled a home run. Ruled a triple. Meantime, Steve Finley says, he's coming in anyway. Rips that out. Second home run of the game. And Arizona up on the Rockies, 9-3 the final. Lenny Harris adding on in this one. Lenny, solo shot, launches it deep, launches it out.
We talked earlier about Buck Showalter, learning to using his bench in effective ways. Right there, another effective opportunity for Lenny Harris.
Harris 4 for 4 with the home run for Finley. 7th multi-home run game this year. 14 in his career, so half of them in this season. 9-3 Diamondbacks with the win. Well, up next, he's become one of the league's brightest stars, Sean Green, leading the Jays against the Rays. We're back on Baseball Tonight. Much more coming up.
Out here and practically everywhere else, people are using 1010-9000 because it's the easy way to find a phone number.
I'll tell you why I use it, because now I don't have to remember area codes. There's too darn many, and they keep on changing.
Well, that's one good reason. Any others?
Yep. I like the 1010-9000 operators. Sure beats talking to a machine.
No area codes to remember and nice people to help you.
Yep.
Wish I'd said that. 1010-9000. Directory assistance for everyone in America.
From MCI WorldCom. Subscribers to ESPN the magazine, like Marcus Camby, really look forward to each issue.
Where's my magazine?
Get 26 issues for just $1 an issue, and this windbreaker is free. It's wind and water resistant with an embroidered ESPN the magazine logo.
Hey, man, that's my ESPN the magazine. Order your own.
Call now for ESPN the magazine and free windbreaker.
There are many ways to dominate a hockey game. Yager does it with magic. Modano does whatever's necessary. The Pittsburgh Penguins take on defending champion Dallas Stars. Friday at 7:30 on ESPN.
Oakland trying to avoid elimination in the postseason race, playing the Angels, and Almeida signs up here. He's got some men on, loaded up, and just launch out there and lift it and put it into play. 1 run will score, 2 runs will score. Oakland up on top, taking a 7-3 lead right now, top of the 7th. Signs 2 for 4 with 3 RBI. Blue Jays and Devil Rays, meantime, Blue Jays take it 8-2. Jose Canseco 2 for 4 with his 34th home run of the season. Also, Tigers and Twins. Tigers take that 7-4. Detroit winning 4 straight games for the first time this season. Dean Palmer 3 for 4 with his 37th home run. Now, don't tell Vlad Guerrero. Expos are playing out the string.
Practice organization video featuring professional.
They will play 2 on Wednesday. Marlins over the Expos 5-3. Attendance, you ask, 5,785. Announced Marlin win, assuring them they will not lose 100 games for the second straight year. 5-3 is the final. All the home runs are coming up next.
Sosa's got 62 in the big league lead. We told you he was due.
Today's Sports Century Classic Moment is brought to you by Budweiser.
I asked him once about the last at-bat, the home run. Didn't you think about tipping your cap, which you always refused to do even then? He said, yeah. Between second and third, I was thinking about it.
Well, if it was just a fleeting moment. Because I hadn't been doing that for a long time. Might have given it a real little faint thought, but that was it. I couldn't do it.
Hey, Bugman. Follow up. Come on.
Like I'm gonna fall for that old trick.
Not so good.
All 4 barricades, huh?
The home runs on the day. Sammy Sosa getting up to number 62. 62 home runs. Mark McGwire rained out still at 61. News information to pass along. Barry Bonds says he will undergo arthroscopic knee surgery on Friday. Already had elbow surgery earlier in the year, but Barry Bonds getting something done with his knee on Friday will end his season. Also, Tino Martinez, home run. Yankees stopping the slide. Sean Green up to number 41. Jose Canseco back in 34 home runs. Rafael Palmeiro moving up on Junior now with 47 home runs. Mo Vaughn trying to help out the Red Sox. Red Sox magic number is 1. The A's trying to stay alive. 8-3 leading the Angels right now in the bottom of the 7th inning. That'll do it for baseball tonight. For Harold Reynolds, I'm Brian Kenny. We enjoyed it. Sports Center coming up.
Losing streak in team history. The Mets are suddenly out of the playoffs, and thanks to 8 losses in 11 games, the Astros are suddenly the wild card leaders, meaning the Mets now need Houston to lose, and on Wednesday needed help from the Reds of all teams. And the Mets led the Reds for the wild card by 4 games just 9 days before. But on Wednesday, Cincy put its first solo division lead since July 9th on the line against Mike Hampton, who hadn't won since winning his 20th 15 days before. Okay, we got it. To the Dome, where confidence was high. Bottom of the 4th, no score, 1 out. Jeff Bagwell grounds to short. Barry Larkin fields pirouettes, fires errantly. Errors charged to Larkin. Bagwell safe. After a Carl Everett double, 2 on. Ken Caminiti rips 1. Pokey Reese robs him. Great play. Saves a run from scoring. Only 1 run scores. But Darrell Ward, next batter, makes this all a moot point by busting out the whooping stick. 2-run shot is 8. Steve Parris says, am I bleeding? Because I just got tagged. Astros up 3-0. Mike Hampton in control from there. Top of the 6th, Greg Vaughn. Swinging. 2 batters later, Aaron Boone. Swinging. Top of the 8th, now 4-1 Houston. 1 on. Dimitri Young swinging to end the inning. 7 hits, 1 earned, 8 strikeouts in 8 innings for Hampton. Turns it over to Billy Wagner to close it in the 9th. Reese swinging. 2 batters later, 1 on. Mark Lewis right back at Wagner, who doubles off Jason LaRue for his 100th career save, and the Houston Astros win a win sealed with the kiss.
A lot of men showing their masculine affection, huh?
Hampton ties Joe Niekro for the most wins in franchise history by winning his 21st, becoming the first 21-game winner in the NL this season. It was only the 4th time in 13 games that Houston beat the Reds, but with 159 games played for both teams, we have a flat-footed tie atop the Central with 3 to go.
They got a great staff, both starting and in the bullpen, so any little opportunity you have, you got to try to capitalize on it.
Coming to the Astrodome, you face Lima and Hampton. They're both 20-game winners, and we came out with a split. I think that's pretty good.
I've said more than a few times, I think it's easier to be the hunter than to be the hunted. And so now we're neither, and neither are they. We're tied.
With the best in the other dugout, the Astros like going to the Hampton. Mike has now beaten every playoff-bound or contending team he's faced this season. 5-1 with a 1.65 ERA and 8 starts. He even shut out baseball's top offensive team, the Indians, in interleague play.
Mets trying to stop a 7-game slide against a Braves team that's chilling. Top 3 ones at Mets, 2 out, bases loaded. Brian Jordan, represent kid. To left, 2-run score. Braves only had 5 hits as a team. B. Jordan had 2 of them. He also had 5 career NFL interceptions, but that's irrelevant. Top 4 still 2-1 Braves. Eddie Perez, bad hop. Ray Ordonez, hell in your business, kid. 95 straight errorless games at short time. Cal Ripken's major league record. Remember his first year when he had 27 errors. Next batter, Greg Maddux and Mike Piazza, flat out hustle. So he's a .311 hitter. No defense? I don't think so. Ray Ordonez is like, hey, Al Leiter, can I get an ESPN analyst job too? Al Leiter, I think, said no. Bottom 4, Maddux in trouble with the bases loaded. Al Leiter getting his hit on. Career or at least this season. He's hitting just 111. Leiter went 2 for 3 in the game. We're tied at 2. Next batter, Ricky Henderson's grounder goes off Brian Hunter's glove. Henderson now 2,812 career hits, tied for 39th all time. After Edgardo Alfonso singled, that would load the bases for the Mets. Huge hit parade in the 4th inning. John Olerud, big old fat booyah! Grand slam. 8th slam by the Mets this year, tying a club record. Only the 3rd slam that Maddox has ever allowed in the regular season. 19 homers for Olerud. After a single to Piazza made it 8 straight hits off Maddox, he got taken out. Said Maddox, I wasn't throwing BP. I had a lot of reasons to try and win this game. Mets win at 9-2. They have a team record 9 hits in that 4th inning. For Maddox, it's just the 4th time in his Braves career, 224 starts, that he's given up 7 earned runs. He's also given up 258 hits this year, 4 more than teammate Tom Glavine for most in the bigs. Now the Mets can still win out and not make the playoffs, but at least for a night, it was all good. Al Leiter, who ended the Mets' 8-game losing streak early this season against 5-time Cy Young winner Roger Clemens, ends this one against 4-time Cy Young winner Greg Maddux. But the Mets' bats were fat as well. Their 9 runs scored, just 6 shy of the 15 scored total during their 7-game skid. And after going just 6 for 52 with runners in scoring in position during the slump, New York batters went 6 for 15 Wednesday night alone.
We still have to go out and do it tomorrow. There's no real magic, even though, I think we feel like we're due some good things, and we got some good things tonight, and I think we have at least a week's worth of good things coming.
We respect, obviously, Greg Maddux, and to get the runs that we did off of a great pitcher, and having some of the guys, certainly Olerud with the grand slam and key hits, it's a good thing for the mindset of going into the next 4 games.
Here's a look at the race for the final 2 playoff spots in the NL. The Stros pull back even with the Reds in the Central, although the Reds would win the tiebreaker due to a better head-to-head record. Just a game and a half separates these 3 teams. Now, the Mets have 1 more game to play than the Reds and Astros, but that extra game is Thursday night against Kevin Millwood. Remember, last time he played the Mets, he held them to 2 hits over 8 scoreless innings. Scott Walker and Jimmy Roberts will have more on the wild card NL playoff race later in SportsCenter. Screen at the Chicago ESPN zone. Now, all Boston needed for their 2nd straight playoff berth, something they had not done since 1916, was either a win or an Oakland loss. Guess who delivered? Briefly, old buddy Mo Vaughn for the Angels, but his 2-run homer, his 9th this month, wasn't enough as Oaktown won, so Boston's got to do it on their own. They got 2 chances with a doubleheader with help from the anti-Pokemon. Top 5 tied at 2-1 on for Nomar Garcia-Parra, WEFUNK, we funk. 27th homer of the year. Jacked it off Jim Parquet. Parquet has been margarine 0-8 his last 12 starts. He hasn't won since July 7th. 4-2 Bo Sox. Top 8 as the anti-Pokemon watches. Damon Buford straight banging. Deep to center. Off the wall. John Nunnerly and Troy O'Leary score. Buford, 15th double this year. 158 career RBI, 260 fewer RBI than his dad, Don Buford, had. Bo Sox up 6-2. Bottom 9, Rod Beck pitching. 2 outs away from the wild card. No more. Doubles up Brooke Fordyce after grabbing it. Garcia-Parra went 2 for 4. Increased his league-leading batting average to .357. Red Sox win it 6-2. So the Red Sox go to the playoffs for the 2nd straight year, for only the 2nd time in team history. Bo Sox clinching also means the same 4 AL playoff teams from last season are in this season: Red Sox, Yankees, Rangers, and Indians. Jim Parquet, no butter, losing his 9th straight decision. While the Bo Sox have won 22 of their last 31, they're in.
I didn't know how hard it really was to win a world championship, and now getting a chance the last 2 years to go postseason and possibly win another championship, it's a great feeling.
It's been a special year so far. It really has. We know what lies ahead of us, but certain relish the moment. As they say, smell the roses, for today, for what this team has attained.
How do you explain this team getting to this stage?
We're good, and people who said it don't know anything. That's basically it. We had a lot of faith. We're the ones going out there playing. We understood what we had out there. We understand the kind of guys we got. We play with a lot of heart. We go out there and we leave it on the field through 9 innings.
Game 2, bottom 2, 1 on, no out. Sox up 2-zip. Chris Singleton to first. Speared by Brian Dahlback. Tags first for the out. Throws to Lou Merloni. Who tags Maglio Ordonez. Double play. Give him a 9-6 for the style. And Dahlback and Merloni a combined 3 for 9 hitting in the doubleheader. Tom Gordon making his first appearance since June 11th against the Mets with 1 on to Paul Konerko. Lord have mercy. He done growed up so nice. Pookie and him and all his family is proud of him. Konerko's 24th homer of the year. He's got 78 RBI. Gordon went 1 inning, allowed 2 hits, 2 runs, 2 Ks. White Sox take game 2. Couple of errors by the Bo Sox, a 2-run homer by the Chi Sox, And the Yankees have clinched at least a tie for the AL East Division title. Still, the Bo Sox are in the postseason, but as Nomar said, we're happy, but we're not content.
Thanks to his fourth
by spending a half a season with him.
For Munoz, the Rangers say he'll pitch with a protective plate in his right shoe. The Rangers hosted the Mariners. Aaron Seeley, last start before his Game 1 start in the playoffs. And Edgar Martinez, a base hit in the first inning. David Bell scores 1-0. Men on the corners, 1 out. Seeley hits Tom Lampkin to load the bases for Jay Buhner. Seeley hits him too. Mariners up 2-0. Still on the first now. Bases full of Mariners for Charles Gibson. Charles Gibson base hit. In comes David Hartman. In comes Spencer Christian. This is Charles Gibson. I'm sorry. Mariners go up 4-0. They go win 7-3. Seeley allowed 6 runs, 10 hits, 5+. Juan Gonzalez received permission from the club to be absent from Friday's game at Anaheim. His 3-year-old daughter needs a surgical procedure to alleviate various sinus and ear problems. Everything's expected to go smoothly with Juan returning to the team for the weekend. The Indians in Kansas City, bottom of the 6th. Royals up 3-2. Jermaine Dye busts out the whooping stick.
Fly ball will hit the left field.
Off of Charles Nagy, 27th homer of the year, 4-2 Royals. Top of the 9th, 2 out. Jose Rosado looking for that complete game. Manny Ramirez, who had an RBI in this game, grounds out to Ray Sanchez to end it. A complete game for Rosado, who gave up a run on 2 hits in the first inning and then retired 20 of the next 22 batters he faced. Manny's 161 ribbies are the most since Jimmy Fox drove in 175 61 years ago. The Yankees and Orioles were postponed by Doppler. It had stopped raining by the time this game was called Wednesday night, and it wasn't raining 90 minutes after it was called. But heavy rains on the radar caused the umps to pull the trigger. A day-night double dip on Thursday with Clemens v. Messina kicking it off at 1:05 in the afternoon. So the Yankees gained a half game on the Indians in the best AL record race and now lead the Rangers by 1.5. With Boston's loss in the nightcap of their doubleheader, as Stewart said before, New York's magic number to clinch the East dropped to 1.
If it's 7-game winning streak facing Luis Gonzalez in the first with Tony Womack on third. Speedy Tony Womack. Gonzalez crushes a fly ball down the right field line. J.R. Phillips got Womack at home. Phillips making up for an 0-for-3 day at the plate. Astacio got more help from catcher Henry Blanco. Guns down Womack, who leads the NL with 72 stolen bases. In the fourth, Gonzalez would try and test Blanco. Blanco's like, "What's my name? Huh? What's my name?" Blanco leads the NL with 38 runners caught stealing. Rockies win at 4-1. Dante Bichette, 2 homers in the game. 17th career multi-homer game. Bichette's 2 homers give him 200th as a Rocky. He had 38 homers before coming there.
First added, and how long have they been calling our wives? The Jays and Rays. Top of the 7th, Tony Fernandez at the plate. Look out. This dude comes up with the bat, and the bat boy wants it back for a little trade, but the guy's like, I want to trade it. I want a little sign, a little signature action. After all, Fernandez is like, I'm through dealing with you. I need to work. And he goes to the plate and went 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs in the night. Fernandez not the fan. Jim Fregosi joked that the fan, quote, decided to trade it for another bat, a ball signed by Sean Green, and a player to be named later. Kelvin Escobar applied his trade well Wednesday, tying a season-high 9 strikeouts over 6 2/3. I had everything under control, he said.
Oath indictment. We're back on Richie get his 15th win. Jeff Cirillo, 2-run jack in the first, capped a 3-run inning as the Brewers won the nightcap.
Just when Mets fans thought they could climb down from atop the Whitestone Bridge, Mike Hampton looked like a Cy Young winner against the Reds, keeping New York a game and a half out of the playoffs with 4 to play. But for the moment, the Mets can revel in the fact that they finally found the big hit, just like the Astros did against Cincy. Reports on both games, starting with Scott Walker in Houston.
On 2 consecutive nights, the Astros had the opportunity to improve their playoff chances. Tuesday night, Houston let that opportunity slip through their fingers. Wednesday, they did not let the same chances pass them by. With runners on second and third, with 1 out in the 4th, Ken Caminiti's RBI grounder, followed by reserve outfielder Darrell Ward's 8th home run, staked the Astros to the only 3 runs Mike Hampton would need. That was a situation where Caminiti and Derek Bell failed to convert Tuesday night.
Their pitchers are not going to make too many mistakes. They got a great staff, both starting and in the bullpen, so any little opportunity you have, you got to try to capitalize on it.
They got probably the best bullpen in baseball, and we got a pretty solid rotation. They got a pretty solid rotation. So when guys make mistakes, you got to take advantage of them. Whoever can take advantage of the other pitching staff's mistakes are going to win most of these games.
Hampton punctuated an 8-inning, 1-run performance by striking out Dimitri Young to end the 8th. Hampton didn't need the help, but the Reds provided it when the sure-fielding Barry Larkin wasn't. His error led to those 3 unearned runs in the 4th that put the Reds back in a fight for their first division title in 4 years.
It's just a matter of regrouping, and we had an off day tomorrow and going to Milwaukee and, you know, winning that particular series, and hopefully, you know, 2 out of 3 would be fine, but if we have to win 3 out of 3 to win this thing, then that's what we're going to have to do.
Coming to the Astrodome, you face you know, Lima and Hampton. They're both 20-game winners, and we came out with a split. I think that's pretty good, you know. And Hampton, you know, he pitched great tonight, and you got to tip your hat to him. So, coming out with a split and being tied going in the last series, I mean, what else could you ask for?
I say the Reds got the advantage. I mean, they're going to Milwaukee, and hopefully Milwaukee will play like they played against us. And if that happens, then we might have a chance.
Cincinnati won the season series with the Astros 9-4, which would come into play should both teams tie for the division lead. But with the Astros hosting the Dodgers for 3 games and Cincinnati in Milwaukee for a 3-game set, both teams are looking for wins, not tiebreakers, to decide this race. In Houston, Scott Walker, ESPN. Now for more on the Mets, here's Jimmy Roberts in New York.
For a team whose playoff chances are on life support, Wednesday for the Mets was just what the doctor ordered.
We feel like we're due. We're due some good things, and we got some good things tonight, and I think we have at least a week's worth of good things coming.
It wasn't only that they won, but how they did it, with effective pitching from Al Leiter.
You know, he came out charged, aggressive, and, you know, he knew he had to throw a big ball game tonight, and he did. So you have to give him a lot of credit.
Al really came up big, even after the 2 runs that, you know, with the base loaded single by Jordan. He felt he was throwing good, and he went back out and put up zeros, and we needed that immensely.
And after hitting just .215 as a team over the last 8 days, New York dismantled perhaps the dominant pitcher of this decade, in the process setting a team record for hits in an inning with 9.
Anytime you have an inning like that, you have confidence. But when you have an inning like that against Greg Maddux, it kind of brings out a little bit more. I think very rarely you see him give up hits like that, give up a home run, grand slam, or do anything of that matter.
Hopefully it'll help everybody to relax a little bit. Tonight we were able to string the hits together and score some runs, and so hopefully, you know, we've bottomed out and we're ready to, you know, turn it around.
Throughout the 7-game losing streak, many on the team said that all the Mets really needed was a break or a big inning. On Wednesday night, that's exactly what they got. Now the question becomes, can this change of circumstance help to relieve the pressure that some players and coaches said was preventing the team from doing its job effectively? And if so, is it too late? At Chase Stadium, I'm Jimmy Roberts, ESPN.
On Bird to become airborne and weighs 20.
To win 2 of the 4 to have any chance of making the playoffs. Bobby Valentine called last night's win over Atlanta a relief, a release. The win stopped the Mets' 7-game losing streak, but one night after beating Greg Maddux, the Mets had to beat Kevin Millwood, perhaps the Braves' best pitcher this year. Ray Ordonez went errorless in the game, 96 straight without an error, a new Major League record for shortstops. Ozzie Guillen up the middle, Ordonez to his left, nice diving stop, gets Guillen at first. Top 5, it's 1-0 Atlanta. Gerald Williams, there it goes. He got jammed, it didn't matter. Enough power to get it out of there for his 17th of the year. It's 2-0 Braves. Bottom 7, 2-1 Atlanta with a runner on second. Darrell Hamilton gets through there. Mike Piazza coming home. Mike Piazza ties the game at 2. Top 8, Keith Lockhart leads off the inning with a base hit. Mets pitching coach Dave Wallace out. Mets want John Franco to come in to face Chipper Jones. Kirk Wendell not happy about that. With Jones up, pinch runner Otis Nixon steals second. With first base open, Bobby Valentine elects to pitch to Jones. That's been their strategy throughout the last couple of weeks. He burns him again. Single to left. Nixon coming in. And the Braves are up 3-2. 3 batters later, still no outs. Andrew Jones, the batter, grounds to third. Robin Ventura steps on third, throws home. Mike Piazza has Jones in a dicey situation, and he tags him for the double play. So the Mets get out of that jam. Bottom 8, 2 outs. 1 run down, Edgardo Alfonso. There it goes. Hoo-ah! His 26th of the year. We're all tied at 3. That's the score. Now in the bottom of the 9th.
Piazza against John Rocker. Did he go or not? Bill Cuzzy says he went around. Strike 3. Piazza didn't like the call. Next man up, Robin Ventura. Down he goes. Next man after that, Darrell Hamilton. Down he goes. A called strike. Bobby Valentine upset about that. Piazza argues again. Later in the at-bat, Hamilton actually didn't strike out before. He's still at the plate. Now he struck out as Rocker strikes out the side. Top of the 8th, Armando Benitez gets Greg Myers. And then Chipper Jones, bring him up, sit him down. Top of the 11th, still tied. Octavio Dotel pitching. Brian Jordan leads off to right. Sean Dunston in there at right. Not accustomed to playing right, issues. It's ruled a triple. Jordan to third. 2 batters later, it's Ozzie Guillen to center. Jordan's at third. Darrell Hamilton makes the catch. Here comes a go-ahead run. A developing situation at the plate. Jordan is in there. 4-3 Atlanta. Bottom 8, Terry Mulholland gets Alfonso. Bobby Valentine still not pleased with what's going on in the balls and strike situation. He got thrown out. Then Robin Ventura with 2 outs flies out to left to end the game, and the Braves win it 4-3 in 11. So the Braves, they wrap up best record in the National League and home field advantage throughout the playoffs. The Mets have lost 8 of 9. They go 1-5 in the 6 games over the last 2 weeks against Atlanta. The Mets now 2 games out in the wild card, trailing Houston and Cincinnati. All 3 teams have 3 games left to play.
I feel fine. I mean, it's not the end of the world. I mean, life goes on. I did the best I can. I gave up my body. I'm a father. I'm a parent. Hey, life goes on. Trust me.
Bobby, thoughts on what was a heck of a baseball game?
It's a great baseball game. Guys left it out on the field. It was a great baseball game.
It's tough, too, to play those guys. I mean, you have Maddox last night. You have Millwood. Both those guys are close to winning 20 games, and they're already clinched, and they're playing relaxed like they have nothing to lose. And obviously, we're hanging on by our fingernails and toenails, and that's just, you know, again, that's the reality, and that's the position we put ourselves in. But like I said, I really don't regret it at all. I just feel that, you know, these games have been really intense and packed with a lot of emotion, and you know, that's an incredible experience.
Bobby, down 2 now with 3 to play. Tough loss night.
It's tougher. It's just going to be tougher. So, just going to be tougher. We'll need a little help, and we just got to take care of our own business.
Inside the series over the last 2 years, the Mets just 6-18 against Atlanta. A big reason they missed the playoffs last year, and they're in deep trouble again this year. Atlanta dominating on offense, and its pitchers have shut down the Mets on offense. Mets reliever Dennis Cook has been suspended for 1 game and fined $2,000 for getting into this fracas Tuesday night with ump Alfonso Marquez. Cook says he was surprised by the suspension, which will not take effect until the league hears Cook's appeal. So the situation in the National League in terms of the playoffs, both Houston and Cincy the night off. Reds and Stros tied for first in the NL Central. The Mets 2 games back in the wild card chase. The Astros finish up with 3 against the Dodgers. The Reds finish up with 3 against Milwaukee. The Mets finish up with 3 against Pittsburgh. If any of these 3 games on Sunday are meaningful, you'll see any or all of them on ESPN2. The New York Yankees are on the verge of doing what they did in 1996 and 1998, and that's win the division title. The Yanks and O's in a day-night doubleheader, and the Yanks' magic number to clinch, just 1. In the first game of the Twin Bill, Roger Clemens, with his last regular season start. Clemens can finish with the worst ERA of his career in a single season. It was 4.46 with Boston in 1993. Clemens took the mound today with a 4.51 ERA, and in Game 1, the Yankees went against Mike Mussina, against Darryl Strawberry. Down he goes. Bottom 3, Joe Torre and pitching coach Mel Stottlemyre watching Clemens struggle. Had problems with the control. The O's up 1-0, and Clemens, here in the 3rd, walks B.J. Surhoff. Next man up, he walks Albert Bell. Next man up, he walks Jeff Conine. The bases are loaded. After getting 1 out, the base is still loaded. Watch this as Charles Johnson at the plate flips one to left. Ricky Leday can't make the play. Surhoff scores. O's up 2-0. Next man up, Clemens hits Jerry Hairston. That forces in a run as the O's score 3 in the 3rd. Top of the 5th, Mike Mussina continuing to pitch well. Strawberry Down he goes again on strikes, and the next Strawberry at bat in the 7th. Strikes out for the 3rd time as Mussina struck out 10, 9 looking, and the O's win at 5-zip as Mussina gives up just 5 hits in 7 innings. He is now 5-0 in his last 7 starts. Said manager Joe Torre, we'd better play better before we get to the postseason. In 6 innings, Clemens hit 3 batters and walked 5. 4 of the 5 batters who walked eventually scored. Says Joe Girardi about Clemens, he was fighting himself. Clemens gave up 5 earned runs in 6 innings, finishes the season with a 4.60 ERA, the worst of his career. His strikeout per walk ratio, just 1.8, the lowest of his career. But after the game, manager Joe Torre did say Clemens will definitely be part of the Yankees' postseason starting rotation. So the Yanks' magic number still 1, the nightcap against the O's. Matt Riley facing Scott Brocious. And Scott Brocious way back in left and gone as the Yanks take the lead 3-2. Bottom of the 7th, Jerry Harrison at the plate for the O's. Bernie Williams efforting. Great effort. El Duque like that. Watch it again. Williams quietly had another fantastic season, and the score remains 6-3. Top of the 8th, no outs, bases loaded. Paul O'Neill down the right field line. Fair ball. Derek Jeter scores. Williams scores. Clay Bellinger rounding, coming home. We got a play at the plate. Clay Bellinger trying to score. He's in there. Yanks up 9-3. Scott Brocious has been troubled this year by some personal problems. His father finally succumbed to cancer. That's distracted him. But tonight, Brocious with 2 home runs, and the Yanks go on to beat Baltimore by the final score of 12-5. They clinch the American League East division title. The final again 12-5 as New York clinches the division, their 2nd straight division title. Last year, the Yanks clinched the division title all the way back on September the 9th. Boston now is short of the wild card spot. 2 hits for Bernie Williams. He's at 200 hits, joining Derek Jeter, the first Yankee pair to do that in the same season since Lou Gehrig and Joe DiMaggio all the way back in 1937. El Duque 7 innings for his 17th win of the season. Inside the series as the Yanks take 2 of 3 from Baltimore. Overall, they are 31-17 at Camden Yards, the 2nd best winning percentage of any American League team at Camden Yards.
For. You never want to lose. Winning never gets old. We come out here, we had a lot of expectations on this team. We were able to fight it, and we came out with now we're the Eastern Division champions.
We had a great team coming out of spring training, but there's nothing given. You know, we got to go out there and play all year to get where we're at. And, you know, it's tough this year, but we did it, and we just got to keep working from here. We accomplished our first goal, and now we got to do the rest.
And I remember being in this room in 1996 when we clinched the championship series, and I was thinking of my brother Rocco who had passed on, and Frank, what he was going through. First thing I thought about today was, you know, it's been an emotional year, and it started last playoff season with Darryl, and it's, you know, it's deals you have to, the things you have to deal with, and it's very satisfying right now. We have more work to do, we know that, but it's fun for right now.
So the Yanks now come in first 37 times. That's the most of any franchise, and the Yanks winning the division for the 2nd straight year and the 3rd time in the last 4 years. Meanwhile, Boston and the White Sox, top of the 2nd scoreless, Donnie Sadler with 2 men on, sends one to right, Maglio Ordonez. Great catch. Top of the 6th, 2-0 Chicago with the bases loaded. And Darren Lewis to center, base hit, Scott Hatterberg scores. Michael Coleman comes home. Michael Coleman is in there, and we're all tied at 2. Bottom 8. Maglio Ordonez, looky here. There it goes. The 2-run shot, his 30th of the year. Ordonez 3 for 4 in the game at the plate. Chicago up 5-2. Top 9, Jason Varitek, deep to center. Brian Simmons. Oh, Brian Simmons ends the game with a spectacular catch. Varitek can't believe it. Simmons, a September 1st call-up. Great glove work on that play. As the White Sox win it 5-2. The Red Sox will play either Cleveland or Texas in the first round of the playoffs. Jimmy Williams announced that Pedro Martinez will start Game 1. Brett Saberhagen will pitch Game 2. Perhaps a bigger story. Boston rested Nomar Garciaparra. It has nothing to do with the fact that he currently leads the batting race in the American League. Jimmy Williams said Garciaparra has to go back to Boston to get his wrist checked out. He hurt the wrist on Saturday. The Sox are concerned that it's not healing quickly enough. So Garciaparra back in Boston to get that wrist, right wrist, checked out, and that's a developing situation that we will surely keep abreast of. Coming up, the Bay Area bids goodbye to Candlestick Park as the Giants play their last game there, and we'll find out if Texas can set a franchise record for most wins in a regular season. The decade, the Players' Choice Awards, right here on ESPN, coming your way November 5th at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Chris Berman will host that on November the 5th. Meanwhile, the A's and the Angels. Anaheim, Gil Heredia in the first inning, facing Troy Gloss. And Gloss singles up the middle. That drives in Darren Erstad, and Anaheim has the lead by the score of 1-0. In the bottom of the fourth, Gloss looking for more. Deep to center, Ryan Christensen. Oh, got up there to make the catch. Garrett Anderson, however, where no one's going to catch it. 21st of the year, and it ties the game at 2. That's the score in the top of the 6th. Jason Giambi on deck. Men at second and third. They decide to pitch to Randy Velarde. Velarde singles to right. Mike McFarland and McDonald come in to score, and Oakland goes up by the score of 4-2. Bottom 7, that's the score. 2 on for Gary DiSarcina. DiSarcina to left, and it's off the wall. That scores 2. And it ties the proceedings up at 4, and that's where we are right now in the top of the 8th. The Athletics eliminated from the wild card race last night. Gary DiSarcina in this game 2 for 3. Garrett Anderson, we showed you his home run. Chuck Finley has come out, but he struck out 9 in 7 innings of work for Anaheim. A year ago at this time, the San Diego Padres were getting ready for the postseason, and Arizona was licking its wounds after a difficult first season. What a difference a year makes. The Pods second to last in the division, while Arizona has had the best second-year season in the history of Major League Baseball. D-backs and Pods tonight from Arizona. Randy Johnson on the hill for the D-backs against Eric Owens. Down the left field line, and it is gone. 2-run shot. Second homer of the inning for the Pods, and they're up 3-zip. Sterling Hitchcock now. Here's Jay Bell. Tries to start the double play, but Damian Jackson drops it. That would set up 2 on for Craig Colbrun. And there that one goes. A 3-run shot, his 5th of the year. Just like that, we're all tied up at 5. Arizona up 4-3 in the 6th. Bases loaded for Jay Bell. And Jay Bell has done some things this year at the plate. This is not a home run, but a single. 110 RBIs now for Bell. The D-backs are up 5-3. Johnson. Ben Davis. Down he goes. Reggie Sanders. Down he goes. Eric Owens. Down he goes. Johnson striking out 11 in 7 innings of work. Ties Nolan Ryan for the most double-digit strikeout games in a season. This was Johnson's 23rd. And the D-backs win it by the 5-3 score. Arizona has won 19 of its last 24. So Johnson now, 364 strikeouts for the year. That is the 4th highest single-season total. His strikeout per 9 ratio, 12.9, evidence, or 12.1, I should say, evidence that Johnson has gotten his strikeouts in fewer innings than the others who have had the most total strikeouts in a Major League season. Coming up on Baseball Tonight, who won the last baseball game ever at Candlestick Park?
Hits it into left field. There goes number 3,000. Willie Mays gets the 3,000 base hit. The 0-2 pitch. In there for called strike 3. Kevin Brown has fired a no-hitter in San Francisco.
And he hits one high to deep left field and deep. Hollingsworth is back at the wall. It is not a hitter. And this one is over.
They did that. Collins hits it. Back it goes.
We are feeling a shock right now, and that shaking in your picture is being amplified by the tremor.
It's a ground ball to the right side, steered by Phillips, flips back.
The last baseball game ever at 3Com Park, forever known to baseball fans as Candlestick Park, as the Giants move next season to a new stadium in downtown San Francisco. Location, location, location. Candlestick Park located right on the bay. Fog comes in, makes it cold, winds swirl. In the middle of July, you needed a winter coat to watch a game at Candlestick, but it housed some of the game's all-time greats. Willie Mays, Orlando Cepeda, Juan Marichal, Willie McCovey to the final game. The largest regular season crowd in the history of Candlestick Park, 61,389. And Marichal introduced the fans, and he throws out the last first pitch. Bottom one, the leadoff batter for the Giants is Marvin Bernard. And looky here, he's leading off the game. A home run, his 16th of the year, and the Giants are up 1-0. Bases loaded, however, for Raul Mondesi in the top of the fourth. John Estes walks him, forces in a run, LA up 4-2. Next man up, Devon White, ball 4, forces in Mark Ruzelanic, 5-2 LA. Dusty Baker says enough is enough, takes Estes out. Bottom 5, Giants down 5-3. Barry Bonds with the bases loaded. Jeff Williams strikes him out. Bonds 0 for 4 in the game. They'll have his knee scoped tomorrow. He's done for the year. Top 6, 5-4 Dodgers, 2 on for Raul Mondesi. Raul Mondesi, a 3-run shot. Number 33 on the year for him. Dodgers up 8-4. Bottom 9, Giants down to the last out. They're trailing 9-4. Bernard grounds to Eric Karros. And that is the last out in the history of Candlestick Park as the Giants go down in the contest. Rich Aurilia capturing the post-game festivities on camera. There's Cepeda. Recently, of course, inducted into the Hall of Fame. Willie Mays counting down to the last pitch ever. 3, 2, and there it is. As Barry Bonds, Mays' godson, actually caught that pitch from Mays. Dusty Baker taking a lap around the field, and Barry Bonds soaking in the appreciation. Grounds crew digs up home plate. It's delivered by helicopter to the new Pacific Bell Stadium, all set and ready for opening day next year. So the Dodgers win at 9-4, and again, that crowd of 61,389 fans, the largest regular season crowd in Candlestick history. The weather, by the way, perfect. Fall in San Francisco is like summer. The temperature 82, no wind, no fog. Ironic conditions for the last baseball game at Candlestick Park.
This is not a sad day for the Giants. Yes, we are leaving our home, but with the support you have given us, we're moving into our new home next year. I promise you, it will be the best ballpark in this country.
I don't think I can be sad. I think this is a wonderful feeling that the people are giving me. I'm not even worried about the ballpark. I'm worried about how people felt about me, and to have them stay like this, I think that's a tribute to myself.
This is a wonderful feeling. Is right now when you say thank you that I was a baseball player.
Most home runs in the ballpark. Willie McCovey, 236. Willie Mays, 203. In a different ballpark, who knows how much higher these figures would be. And again, Bonds today, 0 for 4. He'll have his knee scoped tomorrow. He is done for the season. How about the Rangers? Can Texas win its 95th of the year? That would be a franchise record. We'll find out when we come back.
Today's Sports Century Classic Moment is brought to you by Lincoln Financial Group.
On the last day of the season, the Cardinals' Dizzy Dean shuts out the Reds 9-0 for his 30th victory. In winning his last 7 starts, Diz finishes with a 30-7 ledger, leading the Redbirds to the NL pennant. Dean will be the National League's last 30-game winner this century. That was September 30th, 1934.
At the bottom of the second, and he has quietly had a great year. His 24th home run of the year. It is 1-0 in favor of Texas, and in Texas, the fireworks go off. We got issues with the smoke. Can't see a thing. Raul Ibanez can't see. Play was delayed. Smoke delay, please. Juan Gonzalez here. 39th of the year in the bottom of the third, and Texas is up by the score of 2-0. Top 6, John Burkett facing Edgar Martinez. 2 on and 2 out. Bring him up, sit him down. Eric Cooper, the home plate ump. Martinez didn't like the call. He struck out 3 times in the game. Bottom 6, it's Pudge. Base hit. Royce Clayton and Tom Goodwin score, and an easy victory for Texas. They win at 7-zip. So the Rangers' 95th win sets a team record for most wins in a season, says manager Johnny Oates. These are things you like to grasp on the way to the bigger prize at the end. John Burkett combined with 3 relievers on a 4-hitter. Burkett has finished up strong and could be a big help in the postseason behind Aaron Seeley and Rick Helling. In his last 7 starts, Burkett 5-1, a 3.51 ERA, vastly improved over his year through August 23rd, so bad at one point that he was actually sent to the bullpen. Coming up on baseball tonight, can the Indians move closer to wrapping up the best record in the American League? And what about Sammy? Can he hit number 63? We'll find out when we come back. That 3-game series tomorrow night against Los Angeles. The pitching matchups, rookie Eric Gagne opposing Shane Reynolds Friday night. Saturday, Chan-Ho Park against Scott Ellerton. Sunday, Kevin Brown, the loser last night against San Francisco, is listed as probable. If he goes, he faces 20-game winner Jose Lima. The Reds play 3 against Milwaukee. Denny Nagel has been solid since his return from the DL. Juan Guzman, he's been a valuable addition for Baltimore. And Pete Harnisch has emerged as the Reds' ace. Reds in Houston begin play tomorrow, all tied up for first place in the NL Central. If the race goes down to the final day of the season Sunday, you will see any meaningful baseball game on ESPN2. Meanwhile, the Blue Jays and the Indians, John Hart's team, trying to wrap up the best record in the American League, or at least finish that way. Sean Green grounding into the 4-6-3 double play. Top 2 no score, 1-on, 1-out. Casey Blake through Cologne's legs. Omar Vizquel, great stop. Can't get the force out, however. Next man up, Vernon Wells, his second. And he grounds out as Cologne escaping trouble. He pitched 7 shutout innings. Bottom 5, it's 2-0 Cleveland. The bases are loaded. 1, 2, 3. Richie Sexson drives 1. Way back there. Is it a grand slam? Ooh. Off the wall. That scores 3. Sexton, his second triple of the game, and Cleveland is up by the score of 5-0. Manny Ramirez now up in the bottom of the 6th. There are 2 men aboard. And this is a 3-run home run. Ramirez, 3-run home run, his 43rd of the year. Indians win at 9-2. Ramirez now has 164 RBIs, a single-season Indians record. Hal Trotsky had 162 RBIs in 1936. That was the previous team record. Ramirez, in fact, the first big leaguer to get to 160 RBIs in a season since Jimmy Fox had 175 in 1938. Cologne, the win, now has 18 wins on the season. So the race for the best record in the American League. Indians lead the Yanks by 1. Texas is 2 games off the pace. Major League Baseball went to its current divisional alignment in 1995. This year, all 8 playoff teams will have at least 90 wins. The first time that's happened. One team, either Cincy, Houston, or the Mets, will win 90 games and not make the playoffs. How about the organ? Yeah, we do have an organ tonight. Jeff Houston for Anaheim against Oakland. Base hit to right. Troy Glaus coming home. Troy Glaus is in there. Oakland's got Houston in a dicey situation. They gave up on him. What do we have? Garrett Anderson. He's in his own situation. And he's out. Nonetheless, Anaheim leads Oakland 5-4. Great play there. Playing the top of the 9th. We'll keep you posted on that one. Tigers Twins. Middrake Cummings.
And there they go.
Deep to right. His first home run is a twin. It's a 3-run bomb, and the Minnesota Twins are up 5-4. Top of the 8th, Gabe Kapler, the rookie. He's had a great rookie season. That's his 18th of the year. Hoo-ah! The Tigers tie it up at 5. 2 batters later, 1 on for Davy Cruz.
23 years old.
What do we have? Davy Cruz, base hit up the middle. Frank Catalanado coming in to score. The Tigers are up 6-5. Bottom 9, David Ortiz, liner to Davy Cruz. And that is that, as the Tigers hold on to win by the final score of 9-5. As Cordero got the win, Wells the loss. Kapler, big game, went 3 for 4. Palmer signed in the offseason as a Tiger. He's had a great year in Detroit. Now has 38 home runs on the season. Coming up at the top of the hour, it's Sports Center. And you with the bases loaded coming up, 2 outs. And do we have a grand slam? Do we have number 63? Wendell McGee makes the catch. Person yet to allow a hit in the scoreless game. Top 4, Mark Grace to left. I got it, you got it, who's got it? No one's got it. Race would later score. Cubs grab the lead 1-0. Top of the 5th, Phil's D a little better. Lance Johnson down the right field line. Bobby Abreu, second in the league in hitting. How about some defense? Defense. Watch it again as Abreu times his slide perfectly. Safe. Bottom 5, a swing and a drive. Mike Lieberthal, number 31 on the year. And the Phillies go on to win 2-1. Sosa 0 for 3 with a walk, has just 1 homer since September 19th. Lieberthal 3 for 4, his average now at .301, and the win for Robert Person, his first double-digit win season since 1993 in Class A. This weekend, Sosa and the Cubs finish up against Mark McGwire and the Cards. McGwire took over the home run lead on Wednesday night for the first time since August 19th. He leads Sosa by 1. Last year in the final weekend, McGwire hit 5 homers and 12 at-bats to beat Sosa in the home run race 70-66. Elsewhere, Pittsburgh beats Milwaukee 3-2. Hideo Nomo strikes out 10 but gets the loss. Finishes the year with 161 Ks, the most by a Brewer since 1993. Coming up, who went deep where? Swing and a drive. And it's going, but it's not gone. And Becker, with his team down 1, is out at second base, and that ends the game. Anaheim wins it 5-4. That's the final. Athletics, of course, last night were eliminated for the race in the wild card. Home runs. Juan Gonzalez deep for Texas. Rangers set a franchise record, most wins in the season with 95. Manny Ramirez now has 164 RBIs for Cleveland. That's an Indians single-season record. Scott Brosius is 2 for the Yankees as they clinch the American League East. Luis Polonia, Dean Palmer, Gabe Kapler all go deep for Detroit. And in that game, Anaheim over Oakland, Garrett Anderson went deep. The last home run ever at Candlestick Park, Raul Mondesi. Bernard also homered for the Giants, but the Dodgers won at 9-4. Alfonso, a home run for the Mets, not enough. Eric Owens, Kilvio Veras go deep for San Diego. So that will do it for this edition of Baseball Tonight. Thanks for watching.
Sweetest cut. Johnson, Arizona did indeed buck the odds. In just their second season, the upstart Diamondbacks captured a division title.
His long throws in time, and the Arizona Diamondbacks are the champions in the National League West.
In the NL East, the Atlanta Braves pulled away from the competition, en route to their 8th straight division title.
Swung on, missed, strike 3. And the Braves have accomplished their end, beating the Montreal Expos 10-0. The victory clinches at least a tie for the National League East title. Now they'll watch the scoreboard to see if the Philadelphia Phillies can hold on and defeat the New York Mets. If they do, the Braves will have their 8th consecutive division championship.
That would not be a problem, for the Mets were in a nosedive. Having lost 3 straight to Atlanta and their first 2 games to the Phillies, they were on the verge of getting swept for the 2nd straight time, and at the worst possible time.
Tense times in that dugout.
9th inning, down by 1, bases loaded, 1 man out.
Short hop, getting up 1, they get a play, can you believe it? The Phillies have swept the New York Mets. The Mets lose their 6th in a row. The Mets can only hope for a wild card and only hope that St. Louis can beat Cincinnati,
who trailed the Cardinals by 2, but with 2 men on base in the 12th.
Swing and a fly ball into left center field. It is gonna be out of here, a home run. Pokey Reese has clubbed a 3-run home run to left center field. And I mean absolute pandemonium down on the field. And the Reds in the 12th inning defeated the Cardinals. This one belongs to the Reds.
Unbelievable season, folks. Unbelievable.
When the week began, Cincinnati trailed the Mets by 4 games for the wild card. When we last checked, they were looking at a possible division title and a comeback season for the ages. This week's spotlight is on the #1 hitter in baseball. what's this Canadian-born Colorado Rockies' secret?
Guy throws the ball, you hit it. Guy hits it, you catch it. Just a simple game. If you know, don't try and get it too complicated, and I don't try and do that. Just take it real simple.
A four-time All-Star. Complete package.
Well, I think Larry's one of those rare players. He's probably a 5-tool player. That's what I think makes Larry Walker so great. I think that he can do everything.
Walker comes. Here comes Mieski. They're going to have
Amazing athlete. You know, I tell people all the time, he could play, you know, any sport he wanted to and be an all-star. Every aspect of the game he does exceptionally well.
Let's begin in the outfield, where Larry's already won 4 Gold Gloves. He's one of just 5 players in history to steal 30 bases in one season and hit 40 home runs. He's the first National Leaguer to get 400 total bases in a year since Hank Aaron did it in 1959. And once this season's done, Larry will be the first man to hit 360 or better 3 straight years since Al Simmons in 1931.
When you talk about the best baseball, if you don't mention his name, something's wrong. He hits for average, hits for power. I don't care what ballpark he's playing in. He's gonna do damage wherever he's playing, in Philadelphia or Colorado, or it doesn't matter.
21-game inning streak for Walker, and he'll get 2.
Man, can he hit?
Oh.
When you get the rare combination of a guy who's disciplined, strong, and has the power and the quickness like a Larry Walker, then you have a rare commodity and you have the all-around hitter. So Larry Walker is probably the most dangerous hitter in the league.
But as good as Larry is, don't expect a textbook from him on the science of his craft.
I don't watch video. I don't sit there and study. I just step in the box and go at it. I'm probably different than other guys, maybe, I don't know. Most of the time I'm up there, I got some kind of song going through my head, and I'll just be singing to myself. Might not be a song, I just might be sitting there talking to myself, mumbling away, but that helps me relax and not really think about the situation I'm in. I don't hear the fans, I'm just focusing on the pitcher, and it works.
Fact is, more people probably know Larry for his personality than for his skills.
Larry's Larry, you know, he's a clown.
He's a throwback, I think, to the old days when we really had a good time. Players are a little more reluctant to express themselves today than they used to be, but not Larry.
Some guys might be really serious, some guys might want to have fun, some guys try and mix it up. But at the same time, you can't forget we're playing just a little kid's game out there. And you can have fun as long as you get your job done. And there's nothing wrong with going out there and, you know, having some laughs and giggles and making light of the situation.
That's precisely what Larry did as a Montreal Expo when he produced one of baseball's all-time bloopers.
It was just a comical. There I was giving a ball away with 2 outs. I remember going back and taking the ball out of his hand and throwing it at the home plate. And I walked up to him and said, "Don't you ever take that ball away from me again." 2 outs, and I went back up to my position. So it was a fun moment.
It's refreshing to know that so much talent belongs to someone who has so much fun just playing a game.
I'm concentrating through having a good time, you know, and just having fun with it. I mean, I am serious, and I'm down to business, but I like to do it with a smile on my face all the time instead of looking like a grump.
Coming up, the last days of the Dome, next on Baseball Max. Baseball Max is brought to you by... It's one of the most storied ballparks in Major League Baseball, the Astrodome in Houston. The first of its kind, it still stands today as a modern marvel. The Astros entered the league in 1962 as the Colt 45s, but the sweltering heat led team president Judge Hofheinz to fight for an all-purpose indoor stadium, one that opened its doors in 1965.
The fabulous Astrodome, the 8th wonder of the world.
It was billed as the 8th wonder of the world, and to be honest, to an 18-year-old kid, it looked like the 8th wonder of the world. I thought I was walking into the next century. It looked like a gigantic flying saucer. It was just magnificent. Of course, at that time, there was natural grass here.
But the grass wouldn't last long. The glare from the skylights made fly balls almost invisible, and the grass soon died when paint was applied.
But it was obvious at that point that there would have to be something done before the next season, and that's something that became AstroTurf.
AstroTurf debuted in 1966. Finally, the Astrodome was ready for the big time.
The first All-Star game to be televised at night, and the first one played indoors.
Now, the world would get to see the future.
We had a rain most of the day here that left everybody unconcerned in Houston because they knew it would be play ball tonight under perfect conditions, air-conditioned theater comfort.
Don Wilson threw the Astrodome's first no-hitter. Others would soon follow, including number 5 of 7.
Dusty was the last out, and I threw him a curveball, and it was a good curveball, but Dusty was an extremely good hitter, and he hit a ground ball to Art Howe.
And a ground ball to third. He has got it, Art Howe. He got it. Nolan Ryan. No-hitter number 5.
A very special moment because of the fan involvement and your teammates. I think appreciation for what you'd accomplished.
Ryan then became the first man ever to do this.
This crowd is getting up all the way around. They want it now. 4,000.
From one ace to another. For in 1986, Mike Scott turned a trick never before happened in baseball.
Of all the no-hitters that I have done, I think maybe the biggest would be Mike Scott's because it won a division.
Now the hitter is Will Clark. He's 0 for 3. Swinging a bouncer. This could be it. Davis runs to the bag. Game is over. No-hitter. Astros win the championship. Holy Toledo!
I think when they name the great special moments through the Astrodome, that'll have to be one of the big ones.
The 1980 playoffs against the Phillies are still considered one of the game's best, much like the 6-inning playoff classic against the New York Mets.
4-3 New York, bottom half of the 14th inning. Now the pitch on the way. High fly deep to left, down the line, and they go foul waiting. It hits the screen. Tie ball game, home run.
In the 90s, the Astrodome has witnessed another round of great moments. The Astros of today have thrilled Houston fans with their hard-nosed play, and new memories have been born.
When it was 97 when we clinched on the field, finally getting over the hump, getting into the playoffs that year. And to do it there in front of the fans and the people, it was special. It's something that I'll remember for a long, long time.
As the Astros head to their new home next year, the Astrodome assumes its place in baseball history. For 35 years, a symbol, truly the first of its kind. Coming up, Canada's junior elite goes to camp.
I didn't watch baseball growing up that much. I never played high school ball, never played college ball, and I was way behind all the American kids when I first came over here, so I had to learn how to play, and then I did that.
Well, that's changing. Today, Canadian kids are getting a better chance, thanks to the Junior Elite Baseball Camp held recently in Toronto.
We watch baseball all the time, like my brother and my dad and everything. Like, we watch the Larry Walkers, and you come here, and just being able to play in a facility like this day in and day out is just great in itself.
I'm proud to be a Canadian, but more proud that when a kid comes up and says that you've inspired me, and it makes me want to shoot that much harder to get to the big leagues.
At the camp, former big league players and coaches served as inspiration.
It's been great actually because we've got major league coaching here. It gives you really an idea how it is like when you go up to the higher levels.
And it's all due to the efforts of Adidas, Major League Baseball, and Baseball Canada.
Well, this camp is a great opportunity for these young players of 15 and 16-year-olds. What it does is it gets these kids exposed at a younger age to the better coaching, to competition level that is within their capacities.
They also went to the classroom for some life skills lessons.
I wanted to get all the information and play as much as I could and work at my skills and dedicate my whole life to being a baseball player.
Look for more big players from Canada in the future.
Getting the kids involved more in baseball here in Canada, and anytime they can come to the Dome and play, it means that much more for them.
Canadians, are not really known for baseball. I think it's good because we're starting to get more noticed and recognized, and I think it's great for Canadian ball players.
Now, the most outstanding performances from September as we go to the max. We begin with pitching and Eric Milton of the Minnesota Twins. Eric took on the Anaheim Angels and left them hitless.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out. A no-hit, no-run game for Eric Milton, being mobbed by the Twins coming out of the third base dugout.
Atlanta's Kevin Millwood was a perfect 4-0 at one point in September with ERA under 2. A not-so-wild card on a staff of aces.
He's rolling right along.
Millwood's gone out here today and just pitched a dandy.
Pedro Martinez dominated the month. He too went 4-0 with an ERA under 1 on his to both team and personal strikeout records.
306, a new all-time career high for Pedro Martinez.
This guy can make you look foolish at the plate.
Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa have truly defied the odds, with Sammy the first man ever to hit 60 twice.
Hit deep to center. 60! Wow! Goosebump time in Wrigley.
Guess who's the second man to hit 60 twice?
This is hit a ton to left. Going back, it is going to be 60 for McGwire.
The first American League shortstop with 2 40 home run seasons is Alex Rodriguez.
And the baby is going to fly away. A towering shot by Alex Rodriguez.
Cleveland's Manny Ramirez had a record-setting month. He's now driven in more runs than any man since Jimmy Fox in 1938.
Center field and deep. It's 8 batted in for Ramirez as he hits it off Windows Restaurant straight away center field. That was a smash.
One of the big bats that has helped the Reds to their most victories since 1976 belongs to Greg Vaughn. All he did in September was hit 14 home runs.
Another rocket deep to left. It's a trifecta for Greg Vaughn. Wow.
Finally, Atlanta's Chipper Jones is the first man ever to hit 300 with 100 RBIs, 40 home runs, 40 doubles, 100 walks, 20 stolen bases, and score 100 runs.
There is no hotter baseball player on earth right now than Chipper Jones.
Casey, Greg Vaughn, and everyone as they turn up the heat in the race for the title. Be a part of the magic and get your playoff tickets today. Hottest ticket in town available at the Reds ticket window, all Ticketmaster outlets, and by phone at 513-421-REDS. Part of the magic has come from this guy at the plate too, Eddie Taubensee. What a great year he's had. 315, 21 home runs, 84 runs batted in. Right field in the air. It'll hang up for Burnitz. And there's one away. Alonso for the Mets, Pokey Reese, Biggio, Boone. They're the front runners going into the ballot. That's a walk to Pokey, so the Reds get a base runner. Reese is on. Around again.
Well, it looks like the third baseman Cirillo coming in there very hard, so Nagel's got to get it down the first baseline, and he does.
Successful sacrifice by Denny Nagel. Pokey Reese goes to second base, and for Nagel, that's his 5th sacrifice of the year.
The pitcher never made him stop. That's a cardinal rule, and for pitching, you got to get the base runner to stop out there. You give the guy a running lead like Pokey had, almost impossible to throw him out.
An infield error or a wild pitch. Cameron towards the corner, hit pretty good. It's going to be gone. Mike Cameron, number 21, and the Reds take a 2-0 lead. That's a cannon shot by Cameron into the corner, and the Reds take a 2-0 lead against the Brewers.
Well, that's how dangerous this lineup can be, George. They just spread the offense amongst everybody. 10 players have 10 home runs or more on this ball club. That was number 21 for Mike Cameron. A line shot down the line. They're happy in the dugout, but they're not going crazy. They're just kind of taking care of business here in Milwaukee.
Here's another look at number 1 for Cameron.
Looked like a cut fastball that Scott Carl tried to get in there on Mike Cameron, but didn't get it in there far enough. Cameron got the bat head through. And all it takes now is a lap around the bases.
And yes, Barry Larkin was thrown out trying to stretch a single into a double in the first inning, but what Larkin told all his teammates, as the captain, was, let's be aggressive, let's go after it, let's not just sit back. And you saw Cameron hop aggressively all over that 2-1 delivery and drill it out of the ballpark. Hit to center field. Grissom surrounds it, gloves it, and that'll do it. But the damage done. Reese, a walk, a stolen base, a sacrifice, and then Mike Cameron cashed him in. 2-0 Cincinnati. Here we go to the bottom of 3. Brian Banks will lead it off. Mets lead Pittsburgh by a score of 1-0, and Los Angeles leads Houston 1-0. Ooh, right off Carl. The throw to first will be in time, and let's see how Carl is. Looked like it hit him right in the leg.
Talk about a shot. Boy, Sean Casey hits this ball just about as well as you can strike one. Right back up the box.
What a bullet by Casey. Talk about getting your pins knocked out from under you. Watch this one.
You know, when a left-handed pitcher gives up a shot like this to a lefty, it's harder for one reason or another to react to it. I think he may have gotten his glove up. I don't know. Sometimes as a pitcher, especially as a lefty, you got a right-hander up there and you throw a pitch, and somewhere en route you get the feeling that pitch might be hit back to you. But when you face a left-handed hitter, it's all together different, especially a guy like Sean Casey, who usually hits the ball very late. He waits until almost it's in a catcher's glove and then snaps his wrist.
Looked like right in the hip flexor area, and that he might be able to pitch now with it, but boy, that'll tighten up a little later.
Well, there is no later for this Brewer team, so they'll find out if he can get it out.
Sean Casey and Dave Collins each argued the call down at first by the first base umpire.
So Sean Casey will be due for a little return. Maybe he'll get a bloop base hit sometime later in the ballgame.
It's amazing. When we were in Houston, and obviously when you're in a pennant race, everybody watches the other teams that are in that race. And when the Reds were playing the St. Louis Cardinals, and remember Casey had the pitch up and in that he kind of fell back on, and they hit a soft liner to left field for a base hit. One of the Astros, Jeff Bagwell, was talking about it, and somebody mentioned, hey, boy, what a lucky hit that was. And Bagwell says, you kidding me? You know how many balls he's hit right on the nose that somebody caught? They do even out. And
see, it's another hitter sticking up for him.
That's right.
Another first baseman, too.
Exactly. Take another look, and here's the play at first. Here's Carl on the ground, and watch the throw from Banks to first.
Pretty good reaction there by Brian Banks, the catcher. He gets out there right away, realizing that you've got Casey running, a little extra time at first base. Bang, bang down there, but they ring him up.
So Carl's going to stay in and try to make a go of it. Casey drilled to left. If it stays fair, forget it. It's going to be gone. Well, the two guys who have been closest of friends all year from day number 1 in spring training, Mike Cameron and Greg Vaughn, both deposit home runs in the same spot, about 4 or 5 rows from each other, and they've given the Reds a 3-0 lead. Boy, does he unleash on this one for home run number 44 for Greg Vaughn.
Well, after pitching him away the first time up, Scott Carl decides to come inside that time. Looked like an off-speed pitch that Greg Vaughn was just sitting back waiting for, and he unleashed it. Sometimes you hit a ball so hard that you can't keep it fair. That ball just stayed dead straight as it went right down the left field line.
Here's Hammonds, a dribbler down to third. It'll go run. Back-to-back doubles last inning produced the run. 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. He had dialed it up tonight, pitched 6 strong innings. And he got some support. Mike Cameron's 21st home run of the year after a walk to Pokey Reese. And Greg Vaughn's solo shot, his 44th of the year, gave him a 3-0 lead. He exits with a 3-1 lead. Pokey Reese, a couple of more walks, single, couple of steals, and a run score added up. The Reds lead at 3-1. We'll turn it over to the bullpen as we take a look at the 6th inning for the Brewers. Valentine bangs a double into the left field corner off Denny Nagel. And then Jeff Cirillo hits one a ton to left center field. Cameron can't catch up to it. That'll chase home Valentine. There's your run for Milwaukee. That means Scott Williamson will come on and try to keep it right where it is.
The Reds relievers have done a pretty good job all year long. Scott Williamson, of course, one of them. And one of the reasons why the Reds relievers are the talk of baseball. The relievers, that is, lead the major leagues in wins with 33. They got a 329 earned run average. But since the 1st of September, they faltered a little bit. The relievers have posted an earned run average a little bit over 5. But Scott Williamson, who came in the other night, did an outstanding job in one inning that he pitched, and it was an important night for him because he has struggled a little bit lately, relying a lot on his breaking ball, but he came in throwing fastballs and throwing strikes.